Well, no. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Right. Fucking thing sucks.
What's up, Raiders? It's your boy Groovinator. Sorry we were running a little bit late. We had to deal with the paparazzi. We were swatting them mofos off of the stick, man. You know, the paparazzi is pretty real when you're rock stars like us, right? So yeah, had to deal with the paparazzi. How you doing? I'm here with my boy, my brother from another mother. One of these days I'll get this right. Like I just can't look at.
I know I got to do that.
This guy over here, all right. The other microphone that's right next to mine. My brother from another mother, Etep Kulian from the Place to Be Reviews.
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man? Good to be here. Yep, it was me. I was running a little bit late. Had to handle some business, you know, got to run the kid around and stuff and get everything squared away. So I'm here. I'm ready to talk about some duck feet. And yeah, MJ, it was me. I'll acknowledge that I did go back and read the chat. So yeah, TikTok, it was on me. I know. Love you too.
Pitter patter, get after.
Good to be here.
Oh my God. So yeah, so I just want to acknowledge the chat real quick. We got the Appalachian American and MJ Murphy watching us. They've been waiting patiently for us to get started. So I don't have any housekeeping notes or any of that kind of nonsense today. I'm just gonna get right the frick into it. Okay. But first of all, I would like, because I know probably a lot of people came here to just watch me shit on a review or shit on a movie, because that's what always gets the most clicks. Am I right? So but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the good stuff first, and then we'll get into the bad stuff. All right. But good stuff first. I was really glad to see these two back again, Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, I know I said a lot of dumb things about Linda Hamilton, you know, like looking kind of hard and sounded kind of like she smoked a whole case of Pall Malls before she started doing her lines. But you know what? She is back, and she is doing the absolute best that she can with this material, and I got to give her props for that. It was good to see her back, and you know, not be replaced by Emilia Clarke. You know what I mean? And I think that was a good move to have her back, and I enjoyed her in this movie. Okay. Also, next to the right, you know, we got the Governator himself. All right, and my childhood idol, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I was glad that they were in this, because that brought me some entertainment. Okay, I was just glad that they were there. And you know, like I said, I'm not like a franchise worshiper. I am a fan of the first two movies, but I am also an Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton fan. I like some of the stuff that they do outside of Terminator as well. Probably more from Arnold than Linda Hamilton, because she kind of disappeared after Dante's Peak, if you remember. But I loved her in that movie, you know, so that was good. And then, of course, we've got the new Terminator, Gabriel Luna. I've not seen this guy in any other movies, so I don't really know his body of work. I see potential in this guy, at least from this movie alone. I didn't really get to see enough of him to judge his performance, but you know, he's not very menacing either. You know what I mean? But he's definitely did some of his lines pretty well. Okay, if that makes any sense. And this will probably be the biggest shock. But as you know from this poster here, the poster that pretty much threw it right off the whack from the get-go, you know. In the middle here, you know, some people said LGBTQ 1000. Some people said the Justin Biebernator. You know, I've heard all kinds of different things mentioned. Believe it or not, she's not the worst part of this movie. I actually kind of liked her character. I did. I'm gonna go against the expectations. I'm gonna subvert your expectations, because I did not dislike this character. I again doing the best with what she had. Okay. And there were some things that were done with her character that I thought were interesting. And that's why I'm going to get into full-blown spoilers. I mean, it's in the freaking, description. This is a spoiler review because it is impossible to talk about this movie without spoiling things. But back to Mackenzie Davis, it's very well known. She's enhanced. She is augmented. And the reason I find that interesting is I'm a big fan of the video game series Deus Ex Machina. And or Deus Ex Human Evolution, I should say, not Deus Ex Machina. Deus Ex Machina. I'll get into some of that Deus Ex Machina stuff a little bit later, Pete. You know what I mean? But
yep, absolutely.
She's augmented in that she has some cybernetic enhancements, but at the heart, she's still human. And what is interesting about her is this thing that has been done to her is very temporary, and it's to give her the ability to fight the Terminators, but she also has a time limit, and she also needs drugs in order to maintain her level of endorphins and aminos or whatever it was they said in the movie. In other words, her powers are limited. Okay, so when you see the whole truck thing and she's jumping up and throwing the rebar like a piece of javelin and all that, that's very temporary. Right after that, she starts crashing really bad, like almost like a heroin addict coming down from a bad, from lack of needing a fix. You know what I mean? And she has to go and find drugs. All right, and she's completely useless at that point. So she's not like, this woman is really tall, by the way. We've established that she's a pretty good looking lady when she's not being a Wokenator or whatever it is, this look that they try to go for. But I did think that her character was interesting, but I think that her story and her character would have been interesting in something outside of Terminator. You know what I mean? Like it and that kind of gets to where I'm going with this review is this movie is good when it's trying to be different. Because as you've gathered from the trailers, if you've seen the poster or the trailers, if you look at it long enough, you can guess what happens in this movie. It's extremely predictable. Like, you've seen the plot coming a mile away. There are no surprises whatsoever when it comes to this. The other thing I want to mention is going back to this guy. When I say that the movie's doing things differently, I like the fact that she's augmented and the fact that it's a temporary thing, and that people have to volunteer for that, and they're not expected to have a long life expectancy. That was interesting to me, but they don't explore it very much, and that's unfortunate. It's like a tease. It's like, well, a little bit of this, just a little bit, and I'm like, no, give me more of that. I like that. Let's do some more with that idea. But yeah, she's actually not the worst part of this movie, man. I didn't think I was going to be saying that, but her character really did not bother me.
Well, that's from the reviews. Like, I watched the reviews last week because I really had no intention of seeing it. And when we were talking about it that one day, it took everything I had not to just be like, this is what happens. And, because it's like, I heard that too, that she was not the worst part of it.
No, I kind of enjoyed the time we spent with, and we spent a lot of time with her at the beginning, but unfortunately she's not the focal point of the story. But I kind of would have liked it if maybe she was, so, that's unfortunate. But back to this guy, the thing that he does that's cool is, well, obviously you've seen from the trailers, he can separate from his endoskeleton, and then the liquid parts become like a separate entity. So it's like the Wonder Twins. You know what I mean? It's like they split up, and it's like the liquid part can go one way, and then the other robot part can go the other way. And I'm like, okay, well, at least you're trying to do something different. I'll give you that much. The effects, not all that impressive. You've seen them in the trailer. Those are the finished effects, unfortunately.
Okay.
So, but what he does do that's really cool, all right, is when he goes into a facility or something and he gets access to like a government computer or something like that, he hacks in to like the defense computers, and he can control drones, satellites, security cameras. There's one point where he actually calls in like a SWAT, like a strike. You know what I mean? Like, he phones it in. So he's actually using the military to his advantage. And that's exciting to me because it's a Terminator doing the obvious, which is, hey, I will use the government. So he's swatting our heroes in this movie at one point. He calls in to strike, and then they get surrounded, and he, of course, he can change his voice, you know, like you've seen before.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of neat. But there's a lot of scenes where it's like he's logged in, and it's kind of cheesy the way he does it, but I still kind of like it. Like he'll have his hands on a keyboard, and then it kind of melts into the keyboard, and then you see he's hacked in, and he's like looking at satellites all over the world and trying to find his characters, and then he just pinpoints them, kind of like they did in Enemy of the State.
Yeah.
Calls in a strike so that they can detain him long enough for his ass to get there and finish him off. And I like the fact that he's using the resources of the world to his advantage rather than just him trying to, you know, blood and guts it, walk into a building. But there's some of that too, you know.
They kind of gave that away in the trailer, which I think is, I'm kind of looking forward to, is one of the cooler scenes at the border patrol, but we can get into that later.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We will definitely get into that.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And you know, like I said, when this movie is trying to be different, I appreciate it. But the unfortunate thing is you've seen this movie before. And based on the trailer, you can put this entire movie together just based on the trailer. So that's all I got to say about the good stuff. All right. I have to get directly into the bad stuff. This movie's biggest enemy is the script. And when I say this script, Pete, this is like some 5th grade first draft Ryan Johnson level bullshit going on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so it's a Ryan Johnson special then when you said first draft.
It's a Ryan Johnson special. And when I say that, I mean when you've seen The Last Jedi, you saw The Force Awakens, all right? You saw the big climax of that, okay? And then you saw it end with Rey handing the lightsaber to Luke Skywalker, you know. And then we were dying to know where it went next. We wanted to see Luke Skywalker next movie. And then the very next movie, almost the very first scene, throws that lightsaber right over his shoulder. So, spoiler alert. We open up on the famous scene where Sarah Connor is doing her, she's the dream, she's recurring the nightmare from Terminator 2. And that kind of pissed me off because it's like, oh yeah, remember back in a better movie, you know, this scene here, which... God, that scene still gets to me, man. I mean, she should have got an Oscar nod for that scene alone.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just, and they're burning like leaves, and they did the whole scene, and then it's cut to Sarah Connor narrating what they've been doing for the last couple of years. They managed to stop Skynet. Okay. Skynet never happened, and they had to go forward. I'm not kidding you, Pete. Even before the opening credits, another Arnold Schwarzenegger just shows up. You see young Linda Hamilton. They used the de-aging shit, you know.
I heard that looked really good on her.
It looked really good. Yeah, you had young Sarah Connor, and then you had young John Connor, who looks almost exactly like he did in T2, which is kind of strange because he would have aged a little bit. But
yeah,
they're on a beach, and John Connor's like hitting on some girl over at a cabana somewhere, you know, and then you just see out of nowhere this beach bum looking Arnold Schwarzenegger walk up with a fucking shotgun and blows John Connor right in the fucking chest. Then we go to the credits.
Yep.
So that character that was so important in the first two is now retconned out of the fucking franchise away.
They just shit on one of the most important character in the entire fucking mythos, basically. Are you sure Taika Waititi didn't direct this? Because it sounds like a fucking Taco Tuesday
It
flick.
feels like some Ryan Johnson shit. Now the reason for that happening that they get to is that they also, Pete, sent other Terminators back at the same time that they sent the original T-1000.
Where were these other Terminators when you...
Exactly. Where the fuck were they? Why didn't they coordinate together? Why didn't they get together and go after John Connor then? This fucker just shows up out of nowhere and kills him after they've already destroyed Skynet. What was the fucking point of that?
So let me get this straight. So there's more than one T-1000 that's been sent back.
No. More than one T-800.
T-800. Okay.
Yeah, the T-1000 was established in T2. That was
Robert Patrick.
That was a prototype. Yeah. So there's no more of those, but there's other Arnolds.
Okay. So they had all these other T-800 Terminators back there at the same time that the original Arnold was. And they all have the same mission, and that's to kill John Connor so Skynet can take over. So you're telling me that this fucking super intelligent AI that has the capability to wipe out man in a war can't coordinate a handful to fucking, I don't know, a dozen. I don't care how many there are. This is Skynet we're talking about. Please give me the shrug emoji, because this is exactly what the fuck I'm doing right now. That is the fucking weakest, lamest, laziest.
That's the official explanation. The official explanation is that Skynet dispatched several of these things before she eliminated Skynet. So that this alternate timeline that she lives in, there are other Terminators that are coming at different times.
First of all, that's what she said. Second of all, these Terminators, they don't have they don't have like the little where they can like link up. I mean, what the fuck? And like, come on. Like, Skynet is obviously coordinating all this shit with these Terminators. So you're telling me that they don't have the fucking capability? They have the sentience to do everything else that they do. They switch into different people. They can, but they can adapt, but they cannot coordinate a destination. Okay. All right. So this.
Fuck you, asshole.
Yeah, makes sense to me. I mean, why would you?
This is just the start. This is just the first 10 fucking minutes of the movie, Pete. All right.
Ouch.
So that's what happened. All right. So that's what happened. So John Connor's dead. All right. So I want to remind you guys of something. All right. Let me pull this tab open. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going with this. Okay. Remember how? Okay. To go to the share screen. All right. Remember this shit from not too long ago? This was from July. Okay.
Yep.
That's a fucking lie. That was a shill fucking publicity stunt. Edward Furlong is nowhere in this fucking movie. In fact, the John Connor that gets blown away with the shotgun, you barely see his face. He doesn't even have any lines. Just walk in, boom. You know what this shit reminds me of, Pete? You remember when we saw Alien 3?
Yeah.
You've seen Alien 3?
Yep.
And you open up the opening credits, it just shows, Dwayne Hicks, deceased.
Yep.
Newt, deceased.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they fucking did. Off camera. I mean, it's an on camera kill, but this is a legacy fucking character that you build an entire franchise around. Boom, instantly fucking dead right off the bat.
What?
And this, you know what? People fought with me on my YouTube channel. I had comments and people arguing with me. Oh, this is going to be so good because James Cameron, because of Tim Miller. All right. Yeah. They were all involved. Okay. This is some weak ass storytelling, like massively weak. And I also predicted, and I called it. I'm not trying to come off like I'm some kind of a fucking genius, but I said that this story is creatively bankrupt. It was never meant to be a franchise with multiple sequels. You know what it reminds me of? It's like there's going to be a lot of film references in this review. Okay, you remember Groundhog Day when Bill Murray's he's trying to bang Andy McDowell. So he's like memorizing all these little things and he just keeps changing it. That's what the Terminator franchise is. It's like, okay, they did no Sarah Connor or no Linda Hamilton. We got to get Linda Hamilton back. Okay, they like Arnold. They don't like this. Okay, so we'll change that. That's what they're doing with this. Is every single time they're trying to reboot this franchise, it gets cringier every time.
Well, I mean, I wonder how much first of all, I want to know how much they paid Eddie Furlong to do this, man.
He's not even in it, man. He's fucking not in it.
Because, like, I know they did the gimmick to his face to make him look younger.
This was the complex, and then see, here we go. Our favorite right here, IO9. Okay. Never fucking happened. This is what I'm getting at with the shills. You can't believe this shit when they're and a lot of people did not believe this any fucking way. And you know what? You were right not to. Okay. This did not happen. This was a trick to get you to go see a movie that you've already seen. That's exactly what happened. It's just like the Force Awakens. You guys wanted to see more Star Wars. We're going to show you more Star Wars. Hey, we got 8 people watching right now. If you could hit that like button, I'd appreciate it. Lick the like button. Tell me what it tastes like. Leave comments in the, leave a comment. I'm going to acknowledge the chat real quick here. Looks like unlike, dislike, unsub. Well, whatever. Can't win them all, right? So, MJ, I already know. Yes, you do. Thanks for the elite. She was good in Halt and Catch Fire. Is that are you referring to Linda Hamilton or Mackenzie Davis? I've not seen Halt and Catch Fire, so I don't really know.
I've heard of it. I think it was a TV show.
I liked Mackenzie Davis. Yeah, surprisingly, she was not the worst part of the movie. I mean, from the trailers, it looked like it was going to be. Yeah, you know what? We're not going there. All right. If he says another comment about candy corn, you can remove him from the chat. Okay. I am done. Halloween's over. I don't want to hear about candy corn anymore. You psycho weirdos with your candy corn. Just get out of here with that.
We were listening to Christmas music in the car on the way to Grandma's.
Oh yeah, this guy, this freaking guy. I can't ever get this right. This freaking guy here. All right. Putting his Christmas decorations up the day after Halloween. You're a sicko, all right?
It's going to be tomorrow.
Oh no.
Shit.
You got problems, all right? That's all
I do. Well, yeah.
So anyways, but yeah, so that's just the first 10 fucking minutes, all right? So then we flash forward to what's going on now. She's basically said, I've spent the rest of my life hiding, and mourning, so
yeah.
John Connor's gone. The only thing, her entire world is gone. All right. So flash forward to Mackenzie Davis shows up in Mexico on the beach. Buck naked is day. You don't see everything. You see her butt. All right. So she has kind of a nice butt, by the way, just saying, but
she's all athletic. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. She shows up. She shows up. The federales show up. She takes out all the fucking federales all at once. And you see she has her own version of Terminator vision. Like when she looks, you can see like the little reticles and the zoom features and all that kind of stuff. So she kind of has a HUD built in, similar to Arnold Schwarzenegger, but you don't see very much of it. You just see enough of it to remind you that it is there. Okay. There. So I think they were trying to maybe insinuate that maybe she is a Terminator, but the problem is these trailers nowadays, they tell you everything before you see the fucking movie. So we already knew she was enhanced. So that big reveal is like, duh, it's like we knew that walking into it, yeah. Trailers need to stop showing so much in their trailer. It's like, it's almost like, I had mentioned this a while back on Netflix when they had the Cloverfield Paradox or whatever. It was a terrible movie, but they did not have any trailers for it. They went on Super Bowl and they said, by the way, this movie drops right after the Super Bowl, and everybody watched it. That's what they need to stop doing. All of this promotion, you're spoiling these movies before they come out. It's like you want to reassure that people go see this movies, but all of the big reveals that you have are in the freaking trailer.
Yeah, it's a catch-22 because you get people from both sides that say the trailers show too much or they don't show enough, and or it's like this in case Star Wars, for example, because we really got nothing out of the trailers for the Rise of Skywalker, whereas Terminator just like basically put their whole hand down on the table as soon as the cards were dealt and said, here it is, fuck it, just laid them all out. I don't, I guess it depends on the movie, because if the trailer is going to give away the entire movie, then the movie had better be good. There'd better be some, some in between stuff that you're not showing us that really just wows us. If you're going to give away a lot of the big stuff in the trailer, I look at a lot of spoilers for things now with movies like Endgame, stuff like that. I avoided them, and somebody spoiled the. You have
to stay away from the trailers. Like, especially if you're excited about a movie, it's like I don't want to see anything.
Yep.
Now with Terminator, I wasn't excited about it. I just went to go see Terminator because the people on my channel, when I put that first trailer reaction out, were just lambasting me like, "Oh, you don't know. This is going to be good. This is going to be the one. This is going to be the one." And I'm like, I don't see how it's going to be the one. I just don't.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll get back into it. Okay, so she's on the beach. She takes out all the federales, all right, and then obviously takes the clothes of the man, not the woman. Okay, there's two people there that are not federales that try to help her because she's just fell out of the sky and she's unconscious for a minute. So she takes the man's clothes. Now, I don't know if that's a feminist message or not. I didn't really get that vibe off of it. It could be just because she's too tall, but it is there. All right. You can't not see it. So, and then they drive off. Then we flash forward to Natalie Reyes. Okay. Natalie Reyes. Let me get back to this here. All right. The short little girl on the left. Okay. And then we are introduced to her life. Okay. And let me turn this off real quick here because it's distracting me. So everything is subtitled when we get to her. All right. And all it shows us is that she lives with her brother and her father, and she works for a automobile factory. And then she takes off, goes to work. Okay. And then we see the arrival of the Gabriel Luna Terminator. Okay. He shows up somewhere else in Mexico. He's speaking Spanish, and he's taking the clothes and whatever. And then the next thing we see Gabriel Luna at work at the factory. Her brother's saying, "Hey, they're going to replace me with the machine. Can you believe that?" All this is in subtitles, by the way. Okay. And then the Terminator shows up right away. This is all of the backstory we get for Natalie Reyes. That's it. This is
good.
As far as it goes. Okay?
Good character development there.
Fantastic character development. All right. So he goes to her house while she's at work. Her dad answers the door. I'm a friend of Danielle. All right. And he's like, "Oh, really? All her friends call her Danny, And then he's kind of standing there for a second with kind of an awkward smile. And the next thing we see is her dad walking into the plant, telling the plant security, "Hey, my kids are here. They forgot their lunches again." He's got like a little paper bag. All right. This is the writing of this movie. Okay. So
they forgot their lunches. What are they, 8?
They forgot their lunches. So the security guard lets them in. And then we see her dad walking up to Natalie. She's like, "Poppy, what are you doing here?" And then the lunch bag, he takes the gun. He takes a 9mm out of the paper bag. And then we see Grace, that's her name. I had to remember her name for a second. Grace shows up. She's got a security guard outfit that she jumps right over the freaking barricades of the security plant. So the security for this plant is just like really bad. Okay. So she steals the security guard's uniform, and then she comes in, and we've seen that in the trailer too, where she's fighting the God, we gotta find a name for that Terminator. The Rev 9. Rev 9. So she's fighting the Rev 9 for the first time, and that scene plays out about as long as it does in the trailer. So then she scoops her brother, they take off, they go in the car, and then from there we go directly to the car chase. Like this is how fast the movie just wants to get going. You know what I mean? Like very little story here in this movie. Very heavy on action, but even the action scenes are things that we've seen before. Okay, so
that's great.
Yeah, you've seen the dump truck thing, and then we see the Terminator do its thing, and then she's trying to explain to them what's happening, and then there's a wreck. The brother dies. Okay.
Yes, I heard he dies like pretty quick.
Yeah, so we know little to nothing about him. All right, and then she takes Danny, is what they call her in the movie. All right, and they take off, and then not too long after that, that's when Sarah Connor shows up.
Okay,
and she does her I'm a badass thing, getting out of the car with the gun and all that. I gotta admit, I kind of liked that scene. All right. Mm-hmm. The only thing I didn't like about it is the part where she says, "I'll be back." I just, that irritated me. I'm like, that is Arnold Schwarzenegger's fucking catchphrase. You don't steal that from someone. Yeah,
no.
That's like being in a movie with Samuel L. Jackson and saying, "This is some repugnant shit" to him, and he doesn't say anything. It just irritates me. Like, that's his fucking catchphrase. He coined that. He should get paid every time somebody uses that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So she says that was kind of an eye roll, but since I'd already seen it in the trailer, I wasn't really all that mad about it. I'm like, yeah, well, I saw that. And so they scoop up Sarah Connor. And of course, Mackenzie Davis is having her crashing sequence. She's like, I need drugs, and she can't move. She's starting to pass out and all that kind of shit. And so Sarah Connor gets hooked up with these people, and eventually it's revealed that I'm skipping past a couple things because I don't want to make this review fucking 12 hours long. But it's revealed that she's getting text messages on her phone which she keeps in a potato chip, an empty potato chip bag. She keeps her cell phone in there because she wants to, so that they can't track her. That's her reason for doing that. They're like, well, they can't track me if I got my cell phone in a potato chip bag. All right.
I didn't hear that part. Holy shit.
But she says that she's been getting texts, and all these text messages end in for John, you know, and what the text messages are is locations of where Terminators are going to show up. So she reveals, Pete, that she's been hunting Terminators all this time, and they just kind of ran. You got the Forrest Whitaker eye already, dude. Yeah, she's been hunting Terminators all the time. They just randomly show up, and she kills them. That's what she's been doing. So she hunts Terminators for a living. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting Terminators.
Oh my god! Did they even like? Seriously, this is a first draft. Did they even put any effort into this at all? I mean,
Six people wrote this script, Pete. 6 people.
Well, this is what you get when you have design by committee. I mean, it's your ideas are just going to get watered down and homogenized and dumbed down. And I'm sure
telling you, the writer's room looked a little bit like this.
There had to be some good ideas in there that probably just were like, no, let's go this way, and they just
this
totally
reminds me of like people sitting in a room and they're throwing a tennis ball at each other, and they're trying to figure out how to get to the. They're treating the story like they have to go to an obstacle and then the next obstacle and then the next obstacle.
Yeah.
All right. So where do you suppose, Pete, that those text messages were coming from? I guarantee you can fucking guess it. Probably first guess, you'll figure out where those text messages have been coming from.
I'm gonna guess that they came from Mr. T-800 himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Terminator that killed John Connor. Okay, at the very beginning, just before the credits, he feels bad about it, Pete. He has remorse and pity. You know those things that in the first Terminator, you don't have pity or remorse. You remember Reese saying that?
Fuck you, asshole.
He feels bad about what he did. So he's made a life. He's now known as Carl.
Oh, that's a good name for a Terminator.
And he installs drapes for a living.
Carl.
He's got his own white van that says Carl's Draperies on the side of it. That's his fucking business. He's been living out in the woods in Texas. Okay. Because that's where they find that okay, so I gotta back up a second. Yeah. Grace has the location, like the coordinates, tattooed on her chest, like on her stomach. And those coordinates are the same as the coordinates that Sarah Connor's been getting on her text messages. And this is another one that really fucking pissed me off. This should tell you where the writing goes, okay? Grace grabs Sarah Connor's cell phone while they're in the car and they're going through this sequence, and she has it and she like pulls the back of the phone off and then puts her thumb on it, and the screen starts changing and all that kind of shit, like the screen of the phone. And Sarah Connor's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Future shit." This is the writing. Future shit.
Oh my god. Is this a Kevin Smith movie?
No, dude, this is a Rian Johnson movie, man. I'm telling you, it's fucking so bad. I can't believe that they doubled down on this. So yeah, they get out there and Arnold Schwarzenegger reveals, God bless him, he's trying so hard with this part, and that's why I feel bad that he's in this movie.
Yeah.
It's an embarrassment for everybody involved. But yeah, he feels bad about killing John Connor, which also doesn't make sense, because if Skynet was eliminated and Arnold Schwarzenegger had already been dispatched through time, what is the point of him completing his mission? They never addressed that.
Well, that's a big fucking plot.
His mission
right
is moot point. So yeah, so killing John Connor was absolutely fucking pointless, if for no other reason than to get another man out of this movie.
That had to be it then, because why would they not address that? it didn't make any fucking sense.
There was no
for him to
point
kill
for
John
him
Connor.
to kill, but he supposedly felt so bad about what he did. And I'm not making this shit up, man. This is in the fucking movie. He felt so bad about what he did that he's made a lie. He met this lady that has a kid already, and they were in an abusive relationship, and she let them move in. They don't have a sexual relationship. I said I was going to address that in the chat earlier. Somebody had said, how could Arnold's girlfriend not know? Well, they make it known that they don't have a sexual relationship. Okay, it's just Schwarzenegger let them move in. Their life has given him purpose, and that's how he atones for killing Sarah Connor at the beginning of the movie. People wrote this on paper, man.
Holy mother of God!
There are 6 writers. There are 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fucking writers on this movie.
I don't even know what to say to that, because it does not take 6 people to write something. If 6 people wrote this bitch should be like Lawrence of Arabia or some shit. Like, you're gonna come, you have 6 people and you're gonna come with some garbage like this. Future shit. What are you doing? I off the top of my head, when you said that, I would have been like, well, see what I can do.
Future shit, Pete. That's what it is.
I can just read your phone like this.
That's the whole script is based on future shit. All right. So, I like movies about robots, man. Look at my posters behind me. All right. I love this kind of stuff. But this movie, we've seen this before. And it's like, this plot is so weak. They just rushed to the fucking next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. There is absolutely zero character development. And that's one thing that is unfortunate, because as much as I wanted to like Mackenzie Davis more, because I kind of liked her aspect and her character and the fact that she was augmented, we don't know anything about her other than her name is Grace, and she was sent back to protect Danny. So then, this keeps getting worse, Pete. It's really heavily implied. There's a point. Okay, so we haven't quite got to the detainment center at the Mexican border yet. Okay, they're going there because Sarah Connor knows somebody that has an EMP, and they've decided that an EMP device would stop the Rev 9. Okay, that's the MacGuffin that they came up with. Okay, so on the way over there, they're on a train, okay, and they're talking, and they're like, so let me guess. She's like, why are you trying to protect me? I'm nothing. This is Danny again, okay? And Danny is the worst actress in this movie, man. That's absolutely abysmal.
Every review.
No life, nothing. Terrible miscast. The absolute worst miscast in this movie is the center of your fucking plot.
Yep, that's
not good.
She's not believable in any of her actions.
No, she's not, because that was one thing.
Shit.
That was one thing that I liked about Linda Hamilton in the first movie. She starts off a waitress, and by the end of the movie, she's becoming a warrior. And then the second movie, she's a warrior that's been practicing and waiting. You know what I mean? Like she's ready to get into some shit. This girl does not have that transition, because you know less about her when you started than when you get to the finish line. You know what I mean? So it's just like, anyway, I'll get to that in a second. I'm jumping ahead of myself. So it's revealed, okay, they're on this train, and Sarah Connor's like, well, she's like, so you're the mother of the future. It sucks to be you. I was that lady once too, and then I saved 3 billion lives, and then this just starts all over again. So then Grace goes into her backstory, and her backstory is that Danny saved her as a child from getting killed by some people, because people started starving, and then they started turning on each other, and Danny came in and saved her. And then rather than kill the people that were attacking Grace, she recruited them to her cause. So it's revealed, Pete, that Danny is the leader of the resistance. Not the mother of the leader of the resistance. She is the leader of the resistance.
I can't move.
I thought I was going to lose you. You look like you're going to fall out for a second. Like, holy shit.
What? Yeah. That's what he said, man. They made her the leader, and like that line she delivers, I'm going to stand and fight.
Yes.
Jesus.
So when that scene happens, when I'm going to stand and fight, it's so cringy, because it's like, And you know, when they show her in this flashback sequence, Pete, it's so bad. It looks like it was shoehorned in at the last minute, like
Probably
plot filler. And that's another thing I want to mention. This movie is rated R. I could swear to you that this was probably started off as a PG-13 movie because it is not violent at all.
Really?
The R rating is strictly for language. There's barely any nudity. You see a butt. Hell, I see a butt on primetime TV.
Yep.
You know, I saw Sipowitz's butt on
I was just gonna say, goddamn Dennis Franz,
Dennis Franz and fucking NYPD Blue
yep.
on prime time. All right, I've seen worse on national TV. Yeah. Okay, this movie's rated R for a couple of F-bombs. Well, kind of off-putting F-bombs, almost like some kids are sitting around like, I said fuck. You know, like, whoa, I said a bad word. It's not violent. All right, it's really not violent. So when they're having this flashback sequence, you see Natalie Reyes, and she's got the cornrows in her hair, you know, and she's like, I'm going to stand, you know, all this kind of stuff. It's like, you know, we need to band together and all this kind of stuff. And then you see all these people kind of rising up from behind some cars. It's so fucking cringy, man. And that's when the movie really started to lose me right there. I was just like, you know, it's like, you're really pushing me out, movie. It's like, I want to be wrong. It's like, I don't like to go into these things predicting them and then watching them play out like I predicted.
That shot of her in the trailer shooting the assault rifle, the way she holds that gun, that looks like if I unloaded my AR and I let my son, my 4-year-old, pick up my AR-15 and try to hold it, that's what it looked like. I'm like, this bitch could not handle this weapon. I've been on a firing line with police cadets, and I've seen women handle 12 gauges and, you know, some light M16s and stuff. But this girl,
that's a really shitty scene right there too. And I'm glad you brought that up.
It's not believable at all.
I didn't want to gloss over it either, man. It's like they're on that makeshift firing range that Arnold is conveniently built because movie. Okay. So, you know, and like she's got a 9mm something or other. And, you know, they're trying to show her how to shoot. She's never fired a gun in her entire life. And then Sarah Connor's like, enough of this shit, you know. So she pulls the little handgun out, throws her the big gun. She's like, now pretend that your whole family and everybody that you love has been killed, like they just were, you know. And then she blows a watermelon with one fucking shot, you know.
Yeah, that happens every day, you know. I mean, you're just some little fucking 100-pound twig that can pick up a fucking that, and that rifle looked like it probably dressed out, weighs about 30 pounds, if not more, with all the gear and shit on it. Because that was pretty tacked out, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
That's the other thing that irritated me too. It's like, if for as much as I've actually given Mackenzie Davis some praise, her character sucks because there's a lot of Mackenzie Davis arguing with Sarah Connor for no fucking reason. Other than they just want to have some kind of conflict. Like Sarah Connor is voluntarily helping these fucking people that she's never met, has no reason to believe them whatsoever, and they're just, this girl Mackenzie Davis is just being an asshole to Linda Hamilton for no fucking reason.
Don't her and Danny Ramos, that's a character name, right? The little girl. Didn't they steal? They like stole her fucking car at one point.
They did.
They? Yeah,
they did. They stole her car with all her guns in the back.
Like, bitch, I came to help you and you stole my shit.
I'm telling you, the most character development you get at all from any of these people is that Sarah Connor likes potato chips. You make a joke about it. She's like, well, I keep this in the metal bag to keep from getting from them tracking my phone. And then Danny's like, so why a potato chip bag? She's like, because I like potato chips. And then there's that little awkward silence. Like, I guess that's where people are supposed to laugh. Nobody in the fucking theater laughed, man. There was probably about 12, 15 people tops in the whole theater. And as I was walking out, I heard people saying, well, it is what it is. I heard people saying that on the way out. I'm like, ow. I mean, I was sitting in there because I had where I was sitting in theater, like everybody was kind of grouped around me. I don't know why, but I'm sitting there trying not to make noises because I don't like to be that guy in a theater, you know. But like right after the shotgun scene, I'm just like, because I had heard that rumor. I'm like, oh, that shit's true. Fuck. Remember, I did a video on that rumor that he was killed off right in the beginning. That was a leak, and that actually happened right in the fucking beginning. We're not just going to retcon the last couple movies. We're going to retcon the whole fucking franchise and start over. Like they're trying to use this as a platform to keep going. But anyways, moving on. All right, so they're on their way to go get the MacGuffin. They're at the Border Patrol, and that's where I see that cool sequence that I mentioned. The Rev 9 uses the satellites and the drones to figure out where they're at. Okay, calls in a strike just enough to get them detained, and then the Rev 9 shows up. And you've seen that in the trailer. He shows up at the facility, and he walks up to the security guy, and he's like, "Yeah, I had a hip replaced in Afghanistan," and the guy just waves him through, so that he can walk through the metal detectors. He's like, he's walking through, you know what I mean? He's like, had a hip. My whole body's a weapon. Well, I had a hip replaced in Afghanistan. The guy's just like, I'm like, this is the fucking border here. You know, it's like this. And then there's a very obvious like political statement there that at one point they capture all of them. Okay. Cause the drones capture, they put them in the frickin' detainment facility. Yeah. They got, Mackenzie Davis strapped to a gurney, and that's where you see the scene where they're seeing the little metal underneath the skin. I would have loved to have seen more of that. I would have loved to have seen that explored a little bit, because that was one of the more interesting parts about the movie. And then they do this like kind of X-ray type thing where they're showing, they're like, how is she even alive with this shit? I swear to God, it reminded me of Wolverine, because it's like she's got like bones over her bones and like a metal like some metal over her bones. And I'm like, oh, so she's also the Wolverine. I mean, I swear to God, this scene was they're robbing from other franchises too, dude. They're robbing from the fucking Wolverine movie, you know? She's Weapon X. And then she jumps up and she says, were you trying to look at my privates? And then she punches the fucking guy out. Oh my God. And then she takes a gun and she points it at the other old lady that's there, and she's like, where do they keep the prisoners? And she goes, now we call them detainees.
Jesus. Why? They just can't help themselves, can they?
They can't help it, Pete. They couldn't help it. I'm like, I knew we weren't going to get through the film without some kind of on the nose comment about some, you know, you had to put some kind of politics in there, but thankfully that's about as bad as it gets.
Especially with the scene using the Border Patrol, though, you knew something was going to happen.
Now, the scene that I'm getting to is you thought it would be kind of a cool scene, and I was thinking that too. Like they really built it up. It's like he's taking out all these guards.
Yeah.
You see absolutely zero violence whatsoever. He's walking through, and they're just showing like the top half of him, and it's just you just kind of see a little bit of spatter like here, there, and there, and he's just walking. They don't show that's not a long scene. It could have been great, but no, they just blazed right the fuck through that. Like what you see in the trailer is like maybe 50% of what you see on the movie.
That's disappointing, because it's got a lot of potential to be cool.
Right. At least they need a good action sequence, right?
But then he includes stupid shit like, I like potato chips. What?
So Mackenzie Davis, Grace gets out and she starts opening all the cages with her bare hands. Just all the prisoners are running around to create chaos. All right. And I get that. It's like you wanted to make a distraction so that the Rev 9 would have to get through all these people. And that's the other thing that's weird about the Terminators in this movie, Pete, is you know how in the old one, if somebody just got in the way, it was just keep walking. You know what I mean? In this one, the Terminators go out of their way to walk around people. That's not characteristic of any Terminator movie I've ever seen. Like they don't want to kill anybody other than their selected target, or unless they see some kind of, targeted violence. Like, you know, now they do tell you that the Rev 9 will kill anything that it copies. All right. It's because it has to touch them, and then it also kills the subject as well. So they do that. But like, if there's like a big group of people and they're in his way, he'll fucking walk around them. it's
Kill him. You gotta
weird,
do like
man.
a Terminator, man. You just mow through them.
Right. I'd just be like,
Yep.
punch him out of the way. Now, if they're coming at him with a gun, then he fights back. It's almost like the movie has to be politically correct, even with its violence. You know?
It's Terminator.
Oh, that was another one I almost forgot. Forgot. Okay. Before they take off and go on their mission, okay, you saw them firing the gun. Before that scene, Arnold takes him down. He's got like a bunker that's built. And that's where he keeps all of his guns. You know, and they're like, why?
Yeah.
If you're trying to live a peaceful life and live in, why do you have so many guns down here? And he's like, well, you know, if the eventual, you know, apocalypse comes and humanity's last survival, they're going to need lots of guns and ammo. And also, it's Texas. He says that.
Oh Lord.
He's like, also, this is Texas. I'm like,
oh my God.
Are you still with me, Pete?
I'm
right. Yeah. I just like this is also Texas. And you know, there's, you know, Arnold's trying the best he can with this script, man. He's got a certain way about him. He's always had charisma, and he's really trying to bring it. There's a couple of funny scenes that were written very badly. It's like when they're not, you know, when they're waiting for when they finally get free from the camp, they're waiting for the guy that Sarah Connor supposedly knows. She knows a military guy, and he's just going to hand her over an EMP device.
Oh, really? That's how it works?
Yeah, that's how that works. That's all the explanation we get from that. Okay.
Okay.
But while they're waiting for the guy to show up, Terminator is telling all these people about a particular customer that bought a certain shade of drapes, and you know, he says, I says that was a terrible idea. You should get, you know, with this dialogue goes on for like way too long, and I'm like, this is not funny.
They don't spend time on action and developing the characters, but they spend time on just basically making Arnold look like a fool. Look, we emasculated his character. He's a fucking Terminator, but now he's an interior decorator.
So he's telling interior decorator jokes that he thinks is funny. He also tells he's like also people say I'm extremely funny. It's like, no, I mean, some people like Jingle All the Way. I'm not really a fan, you know, so whatever. But
I just feel bad you had to sit through this.
You know, the thing is, and I told, this is kind of what I was telling you guys. I've seen other bad Terminator movies. They're always like this. Every attempt that they make to try to make this reinvigorate this franchise always comes off as cringy and desperate. Because there's no story. There's no fucking reason to do this.
It doesn't sound like it. No, I went to see Terminator 3 when that came out, and the best part of that was the very beginning when you got to see Christina Loken's ass. That was it. That was it.
Talk to the hand. You know, they had to do that shit too. They do some of that here, so that they're borrowing liberally from all of the movies to make this one. That's what it just shocks me that they went this direction. But now the third act of this movie is where it really fucking falls apart, Pete. All right, because they get the MacGuffin. The guy shows up with the MacGuffin. We don't know who the fuck he is or why Sarah Connor suddenly knows a military guy that will just hand her over a prototype weapon. They don't explain any of that shit. So the Terminator comes in on a helicopter that he stole from the security facility and shoots that guy, and also shoots the suitcase that has the EMP inside of it.
Oh, so now the MacGuffin's MacGuffed.
The MacGuffin has been scruffed at this point. So
scuff the McGruff. All right.
Scuff the McGruff. All right.
McGruff the crime dog. That's fucked up.
So their best, or Grace's best idea. She's like, I'm going to take Danny and go hide at the bottom of a well and wait for somebody to show up and protect her as long as I can. Just long enough to make sure she stays alive for the future, you know, because Grace at least acknowledges that she knows she can't kill it. All she can do is protect. Okay, so they're at least using some modicum of common sense in that.
Yeah.
But Natalie Reyes says, "No, we're going to fight.
Ugh.
We'll find a way." So their plan, Pete, is we're going to make a kill box. They say this in the movie. We're going to make a kill box, trap this thing, and then that's where we're going to destroy it.
Okay. Nothing has worked to destroy this thing yet, but
the kill box is the Hoover Dam.
Oh, that's a good idea. You know, why not? Why not?
That's where they have the final fight at the Hoover Dam, and then there's this big long sequence where they're on the sea, the plane.
Yep.
Like he gets on another plane somehow, and then he shows up for refueling, and then he comes out of the cockpit of the plane to try to get onto the sea, whatever it is, cargo plane that they're on, and then there's a big action sequence, and that's when the CG really starts going batshit at this point because they're like flying through the air, throwing guns to each other, talking to each other, throwing lines at this point. You know, that's where you see the scene where he's shooting the face. That was probably the only scene I really liked in the movie where you see Arnold blowing the face of the other robot, you know?
Yeah.
But when they get to their final scene, it just keeps getting worse and worse, man. Oh my God. This is where the movie just fucking falls apart for me. It's like anytime I tried to give it a chance, it goes to shit in the third act. And the reason it goes to shit in the third act is, right before the fight, they're inside the where the generators are next to the Hoover Dam or whatever, and the robot comes down, and they're all getting ready to square off. And that's when you see Grace doing the thing with the chain, you know, whipping it up like a helicopter. And the Terminator's like, it's like, why don't you hand over? He's telling Arnold, why don't you hand over the victim? You should. Like he's monologuing. The fucking Terminator's monologuing, dude.
Oh,
I'm like, why are you doing this? You're a fucking machine.
Is he a Bond villain?
Yeah, he's like, you should, because he's like, you're one of us, you know. So he's trying to recruit Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's like, I've come from a future like that. It didn't work. This dialogue is taking place. Okay, so they get in a fight. Okay, Grace gets stabbed with the fucking Terminator. All right.
Yeah.
And then she says, she's like, I have a processor that handles my machine, or, you know, my CPU. Basically take the battery out. That will kill the fucking robot. If you take the battery out of the inside of me, it'll kill the battery. So the fight's going on. Arnold's getting fucking ripped to shit and all this kind of stuff. And Grace is dying. Okay, so Natalie Reyes reaches inside Grace's stomach and pulls out this fucking battery, all right, and then shoves it in the Rev 9's busted up carcass by the end of this fight, and that's how they kill. So she kills the robot. But not before we watch Arnold Schwarzenegger die again for the umpteenth millionth time in this fucking franchise. And the end of the movie is Sarah Connor and Natalie Reyes riding off in a Jeep. We'll be ready to fight when the next fight comes. That's your movie, ladies and gentlemen. This is what they were so sure was going to be a surefire hit. The last time I heard, this movie has made $12 million, not 12 billion, 12 million on a $180 million budget.
Oh,
that's
this is
worldwide.
This is paced to be a solo type loss.
This is going to be a solo type loss. I think Paramount released this. Fox's logo is on the opening for some reason, even though there is no Fox. I don't know why. That seemed kind of strange to me, but I saw a Paramount logo, and then I saw a Fox logo, and then a bunch of other bullshit. I heard of 10 Cent Pictures or something like that. And last time I heard, I think they were 10 Cent was a Chinese company, if I'm not mistaken. 10 Cent. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm getting them mixed up with the video game side of things. But yeah, 10 Cent. I'm like, oh wow, this is like. So it did not do well overseas. I don't foresee this doing well here now.
Okay, here's the box office worldwide is.
You want to do a screen share? Or?
Yeah, I can absolutely. Here.
All right, go ahead. I'll put you on there.
All right, let's see. There we go. So we see Terminator duck feet right here. Worldwide right here. Oops, I don't need to do that. $12,643,604. That's international, worldwide, right there. That's
180 million, and I think they spent it all on the special effects, and I don't even really see it. I don't. So I was surprised that they killed the Grace character off.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't surprised that Arnold died, because he dies in all these fucking movies, man. It's like,
yeah, I was gonna say
we've seen this over and over and over and over and over again, and I think that's this movie's biggest biggest flaw is that it's just not original. Like when it tries to be original, that's the only time I enjoy it. But there's not enough of that to keep me engaged. I really started to get bored in that last act because the action is so over the top. There's a part where they're on the plane, it crashes, they're underwater for a while. Everything's fucking completely dark when this is happening. It's like Godzilla King of the Monsters level dark when all this action is going down. I'm like,
oh God.
I'm like, really, man? In 2019, we still have to have these fights in the dark like this?
That's like the battle in
lazy.
Was it Lord of the Rings? That one episode was not Lord of the Rings. Fucking Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
They were fighting I think it was the Night King and the White Walkers. The entire battle was like too fucking dark to see. And then the people from Game of Thrones came out and said, well, maybe you didn't have your TVs adjusted right. Huh? Like,
that's what freaks me out. And the other disappointing part too, I'm going to go back to Gabriel Luna. You know, he doesn't have, Robert Patrick had a certain creepiness about him, but he wasn't copying Arnold. And Arnold had a certain walk, which is why he's in all of these fucking movies. Gabriel Luna, this is all you get. He doesn't have anything to make him stand out from the others, other than he has some kind of a personality and he tries to reason with his victims. That's probably the only thing that separates him, but it's not enough. There's nothing memorable about him at all.
No, you
I
can't
was just baffled that this is where you go with this. It's like they really put all their eggs in one basket with this, and I'm just shocked that is the actual story, because I'm like, this is the most predictable fucking thing. I saw this plot coming miles away.
Yeah,
miles away, and people argue with me on my channel about it. They're like, no, man, Tim Miller and James Cameron. James Cameron likes to make money for his friends, and if he can use his name. He also endorsed genocides.
Yep.
We all know how that one turned out. So why should you believe him again? I fucking predicted this. I told you this was how it's going to be. Now I've seen the movie. All right. I watched it. I kept my mind open. I'm telling you what I saw. I'm not embellishing. It's not that I wanted the movie to fail. I wanted it to be good. But I'm telling you right now, it's failing miserably. Reviews of this are all over the place.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull one up real quick here. I'm not going to drag this out too long, but
no, I was gonna say you're what you're telling me, what you've said thus far during the review has been completely 100% on point with all the other reviews I've watched for this. I haven't heard anybody saying, "Oh my God, just never mind."
If anything, I think I'm trying to give it more credit because I'm starting to feel bad for it at this point. It's like I don't want to just beat up on the guy that's losing. But here's Boston Herald, and this is kind of what we've been seeing. Time for Terminator sequels to die with dark fate. I think this review gave it 2 stars maybe, but I'm not going to go through. I'm not going to read all of this, but if you just Google Terminator Dark Fate and then hit news, like if you're on Google, you'll see more bad than good.
I'm sure. Like
now,
I said, there's nothing.
What's going to be amazing is this was the campaign right here that they sold this movie on, was these 3 people right here. And there's no love story. Okay. I almost expected Gabriel Luna and Mackenzie Davis to maybe have something later in the movie. And I'll be honest with you, that 3rd act was so boring that if they did do that might have been more interesting. Dare I say, okay? Dare I fucking say it might have been more interesting, but there's no love story at all in this movie. They went way out of their way to say that they don't need a love story.
They needed something, man. They need Jesus.
And what makes me mad about this is this franchise has been on life support anyway. And this was their another sad attempt in a long line of bad attempts to reboot something that was specifically only ever supposed to be one story.
Yep.
It was a fever dream. It was a Doctor Who episode. It really was a fever dream when they made the first Terminator. It was a slasher movie that had a sci-fi twist.
Yeah.
It was a love story. There was no reason to continue, but even when they did continue with T2, they elevated it to this whole extra level, man. It's like one of the most famous sequels of all time. Yeah. They've never been able to get any better than T1 and T2. And there's no reason to own any of the movies after T2. There's no reason to even go see this. I'm not going to boycott it. If you just want to go in for the action and to watch some robots fight, fine. But I am telling you that you've seen this movie before. There's very little that they do that's different. And when they do try to do something different, they don't do enough of it.
Yeah, that's everything. Like I said, that is everything I've heard. What up, Cooper Brothers? He's working and lurking. Yeah, it's just, this was like a mishmash of T1 and T2 with some other little stuff.
Few elements of T3.
Yep.
There's some stuff from Salvation in there. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it just little nuggets fighting. And that's another thing that pissed me off. How many times have we said that all you have to do is give us that war where you watch the Terminators with the ray guns and the humans fighting each other? They do some of that in this one too. You saw it in the trailer when they're coming up out of the beach. And I'm like, just give me a movie of that. A whole movie of that. I don't want to see this. One goes back and one goes back to defend and one goes back to terminate. We fucking done this over and over and over and over again.
And this is the third attempt at rebooting this franchise. This is the third attempt at rebooting this now. The third. And you're at what? This is movie number 6, isn't it?
Yeah.
6.
This is T6.
Yeah, this is the 6th movie. So this one ignores 3, ignores Salvation and Genesis,
but also retcons the very first fucking movie because John Connor, pointless. Once you eliminated Skynet, there's no reason for John Connor. Kill his ass off too.
That sounds like goddamn what Captain Marvel did to the Avengers. How it just goes back and retcons, you know, that level of just stupidity and lazy writing. It's like, there's no fucking point to that. What are you doing?
It's just all of the things that happen in this movie. It's one attempt to get to the next scene. It's everything is a hurdle or a MacGuffin or a plot armor. But you know, like I said, doesn't make even the premise of this movie makes absolutely zero sense. I told people they need to leave this franchise alone. They do. I love movies with angry robots in them. I love futuristic shit. I love cyberpunk shit. I would like to see a movie with just not Terminator, not even attached to Terminator movie. What they did, the little bit that they did with Grace, I would like to see something like that. I would like to see a movie about people that get augmented and how they deal with it. I would love something like that. But all you get in this is just a little bit of a flashback. And that's the other thing is in the flashback that this particular, there's no Skynet. Now it's called, oh God, what the hell?
Legion.
Legion, yeah, it's called Legion now. It's an AI collective, and when she has her flashbacks, the Terminators have tentacles, like Doc Ock type tentacles and shit in the background. Yeah,
God. 25% different.
Yeah, pretty much
25% different.
Now I liked that shot of the ship, you know, when they show the ship, but again, they're showing off the best shit in the fucking trailer to get you to go see the movie. If you're expecting more of that, tough. Sorry. That's the biggest bummer. And that's why I'm giving it a score now. All right. Cause we've rambled on long enough. Okay. This is my score. As you guys know, I need to hide. Sorry, goobers. Yeah. You can't see. This is my grading scale until I come up with something more smarter, you know, 5 timeless classic, 4 quality entertainment, 3 worth a look, 2 it's a movie, clean your bathroom instead. Okay. I think I'm being very liberal when I'm giving this 2. And the reason I'm giving it 2 is because there was a couple of nuggets of ideas that they could have worked with that they didn't explore, things that they were at least trying to do that was different. Also, I really enjoyed seeing Linda Hamilton again. It was great to see her back. I did not enjoy her performance at all. It's just a damn shame that they wasted such a bad script on all of these talents. And also, Natalie Reyes, go back to TV, whatever it is you did before. Don't expect a sequel to be made to this one because it's not going to work. So yeah, two cheese curds. It's a movie. I'm not going to tell you to boycott it, but I am going to tell you probably shouldn't pay to go see this because if you pay to go see it, they'll just keep making more of them. The only way to stop these things from being made is to stop paying for them. People are getting smarter to this shit now, and they're not paying for dumb entertainment. And this is very, very lazy, first draft, boring entertainment. It seems like they were just excited to get cast back together. This script did not have any life to it at all. I mean, literally nothing.
Well, this is
6 people wrote this, man. They were probably all robots.
monkeys
This
throwing
movie was
shit at a
written
wall.
by
If you come up with better
Cylons,
stuff.
Oh
Oh
my
God, the Hive Mind Collective. It was the Borg. It was the Borg. No, this is why. Like at this point, just stop. Like you can't move the franchise forward with this Natalie Reyes character because she's not believable. It's not a well-developed character, and nobody's really going to buy in to what they're selling with her brand.
I will go on a limb and say that Danny is actually worse than Rey from Star Wars Last Jedi. I would much rather see more Rey than Danny, because Danny is boring. Rey, we actually liked Daisy Ridley, and we kind of liked her in The Force Awakens. I can't say that this is the Terminator's version of The Force Awakens. But the difference is when we watched The Force Awakens, I didn't mind Rey. All right, it's just a shame that they didn't develop her. All right, I didn't mind Rey as much as some people did, but this movie, Danny, I could give less of a care about. And the other thing that's unfortunate too is even though we did get Arnold and Linda Hamilton back, they're almost ancillary characters. They don't really do much in this movie, man.
That's disappointing because you're not going to be able to have them around in many more of these, if any more of these movies. Hopefully not. So you'd think you want to make the most of it. And get some of the goodwill back with your audience, but like Tim Miller, he stuck his flagpole in the ground right from the beginning with that whole.
He really did.
That Mackenzie Davis. If you're a closet misogynist, she's gonna scare the shit out of you. Well, no, actually, like she'd probably be smashable if her hair was longer and she didn't look like
this. This is the hill
hairdo.
This is the hill they want to die on. This is where this was worth $180 million just to do this right here. This picture.
So right now they're about 168 mil in the hole.
Oh my God! Well, you think of how much they spent on marketing and pushing this movie, and how many of the shills that they had to pay off to write stuff about. Oh, Edward Furlong's totally coming back in Dark Fate.
The average, what was it? The average marketing budget is like equal to the production budget. I think it is, or something like that. They said, so you can basically take that, was it 180 million, and call it $360 million total with your marketing.
Right. Most of these, from what I understand, they used to have to make like 500 or 600 million to even make a profit.
They're losing. They're going to lose a couple $100 million.
Oh my God! Somebody's getting fired over this.
Oh
shit,
fuck! They're gonna lose. I will guarantee you this movie will not make its nut back. It will not.
It can't. The fact that they released it on Halloween. But what's going to be really interesting, Pete, is how they're going to play this off. All right. Because whenever something's this bad, somebody has to put a head on a block. You know what I mean? Like somebody has to answer for, who allowed this to happen, who's responsible, who are, I agree. The Elite said Mackenzie and Natalie were good in shows. It's just the script is bad. Absolutely. I liked Mackenzie Davis. She was doing the best she could with this movie, and she was far from being the worst part of it. She was just stuck in a movie with a terrible script.
I don't have an issue with her outside of this role. Like I said, man, she seems like, a good actress. She's actually a pretty beautiful woman. Like they just really didn't do her any favors with that.
They could have made a whole science fiction movie out of her character if they just hadn't attached it to Terminator. That might have been something that would have been really interesting.
They try to make her look all androgynous and shit. I mean, like, seriously, that's the thing. Like it's not the 80s anymore. I know there's a lot of nostalgia for the 80s, but nobody wants to see this. Is that a man or a woman androgynous shit? If you're trying to make just make a message out of it because it's 2019. And like I said, I have no issue. It's just from what it sounds like and all the spoilers I had previously heard and listened to, and what you're telling me, having seen the movie firsthand, that it's just a bad movie. It's just a bad movie.
That's it. There are some, and that's the other thing that really gets me. It's like they really held this under an umbrella of feminism, and when it's trying to be feminism, it's like just dipping its foot in the water, which I think is even more of an insult than if it was just full blown feminism. You could have just blown off, be like, well, it's a feminist movie, whatever. You can't even do that. It's like it used that feminism angle as plot armor, as
for marketing and shit
armor, to make it critic proof. This is what I'm always telling you. Okay. It's like, just because you hide your art behind politics doesn't make it critic proof.
Yep.
It's not working anymore. It's not. A lot of people are starting to come to the light with this kind of stuff. Goober Brothers Entertainment says, time for us to make our own Terminator movie. I think the best way to do that is not make a Terminator movie and make something. No, I'm going somewhere with this. Make something. There's a lot of stuff you can do within the realm of cyberpunk. Okay. If you give me a movie about a race of people that can augment themselves and rely on drugs to be able to function and have that little, just enough adrenaline to act, you could really do something with that. Something like that could have been so interesting, but it's just a little nugget. It's just a little scrap. You know, somebody actually said something in another review, and you know, this is great. I want to do my version of this, though, okay? When I went to college, my sister said, you know, she went to the same college. She says, "Hey, take biology," because I had to take a science course. Okay, I was majoring in web design, and she says, "Well, take biology." She says, "And I can also give you my book." He says, "There's only one teacher that taught this class, and he's really good, and I can give you my book that I bought." You know, the book's like $180, Pete.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, I remember. Oof.
Started that semester, they had changed the fucking textbook. Like literally just changed it like that year. You know how much difference there was? Less than 25%. They added a couple of chapters. That's what fucking Terminator is, boys and girls. All right. It's the Terminator and Terminator 2 again with 25% difference. All right. That they added. It's like, hey, come see us. We added, this is Terminator, the special edition. And by special, I mean, they rode the short bus to school. And if you know what I mean, and I think you do. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, but to go back to what Goober Brothers was saying, I was like, you don't do a Terminator movie. You do another futuristic cyberpunk. You start something new. Terminator is an isolated story, needs to stay isolated. The only way you could possibly do more Terminator is just fucking give us what I want. McG tried. He did a very bad job of it. But honestly, that's starting to look like the best movie since T2 compared to this one, as far as I'm concerned, because at least they were trying to do the future war. But as far as the rest of this particular franchise,
fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yep. I'm actually looking forward to Charlie's Angels now after hearing that. Jesus, I never thought I would say that, but
you know, I survived because I went and I saw right after this was over. I did a double feature last night. I did what you taught me, the palate cleanser. I went and saw Zombieland 2. Way better movie. That's all I'll say about it. I'll do another separate video. It won't be a live stream. I'll do a video review of Zombieland Double Tap. I was glad that I went to go see that. But I will say that Terminator Dark Fate didn't insult me as much as I thought it was going to, because what people fail to realize is, unlike Star Wars, that timeline's been butt fucked to hell and back for a long time now. We're used to it.
Yeah,
it's like we're used to watching, being lied to, watching the timeline get screwed up, watching good characters become bad characters. They already did that with John Connor. He was the bad guy in Genocide. Okay, they revealed that in the trailer. They didn't fuck that all up. So we've already seen that. In that, he's the villain. So what's worse, watching him get shot at the beginning, or watching him become a villain? They're both bad. This movie was already primed to be bad. This franchise was already primed to be bad. So it didn't have that effect on me. I mean, I was kind of mad about I was more mad about the fact of them just Deus Ex Machina. I'm bringing that back again. Okay. Suddenly another Terminator just shows up out of nowhere on a beach, blows his head off in a cabana, and just walks towards the ocean. And that's the end of the scene. And I'm thinking, who? Why? What? Where? How? When? What? Where did he fucking come from? When Robert Patrick was getting blown to fucking Swiss cheese in the factory that he was in, where was that asshole then? Like, are they like on a timed release? Is this like YouTube where you like set your videos to come out at a certain time? So you schedule this Terminator to show up at this time and schedule that Terminator to show up at that time.
Damn it. And
then they just go live. It's like, well, I got to kill him.
We scheduled the Terminators 15 minutes too early and 15 minutes too late. Shit.
That's the biggest fucking plot hole out there. I was wrestling with that the whole movie. It's like, well, if he knew that Skynet was blown up, why did he fucking finish out his mission? He could have just went and became a fucking drape installer or whatever. It's like, he didn't even have to do that shit.
Too bad he missed the pastel craze, you know. Shit.
Yeah,
You know?
that is a 100% definite.
Shit.
There we go. It's up to Vin Diesel and Steve Carell to eliminate all the ants.
But
Wait.
Steve
I got
Carell
that.
has to play Michael Scott.
Exterminator. Robot ants come back in time 2019 to steal the world's picnic basket and bread. Yeah, give me a comedy.
That'd be a lot better. That sounds a lot better than what we got here.
Give me a comedy. But yeah, this is a 2-star movie, and I'm being more than generous with those 2 stars. I wanted to give it 2 stars because there are nuggets of people trying to do the best what they can. Unfortunately, Natalie Reyes is not one of them. She was a really she was even worse than Emilia Clarke, Pete.
Oh God!
Worse. Well, at least Emilia Clarke showed up to collect a paycheck. Natalie Reyes looked like she wandered on the set, like she was lost. You know, like
she just.
Have you seen my Poppy?
Poppy, yeah. This I was laughing because the one it was the critical drinker was doing a part, and he goes, the stupidest thing is even after I'm trying to do his accent, it's not going to work.
I watched that one too. Yeah.
He's like, what do you say? He goes, she calls him Poppy again after it's clear he's the Terminator, but she just keeps calling him Poppy.
She calls him Poppy when there's still shit like, you know,
yeah.
Hey, this is going to be our new catchphrase. Future shit. That was their plot armor. That was their explanation for that scene. They didn't want to do, you know, the Star Trek Next Generation where they say, well, you know, the time flux and what's some of the other dumb shit they always have like certain words that just like explains it, quantum something or other.
Yeah, whenever you say quantum, it's like fuck, we didn't feel like writing today.
Right?
So
yeah,
in front of it.
Just whatever MacGuffin they can possibly think of. No, they just say future shit.
Future shit.
Future
we're too lazy
shit.
to come up with another MacGuffin. Fuck, so we're just gonna say future shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, Terminator: Dark Fate. Future shit.
That should be the subtitle for it.
Man.
That should be the subtitle. Not just Terminator: Future shit.
You know, when we saw those memes that showed, you know, the new Terminator looks like Pee Wee Herman. Are we even fucking trying? They weren't far from the mark on that one. Although I don't think Gabriel Luna was the worst part of it either. All right, it was definitely Natalie Reyes if we want to just pin it on an actress, but she's not the worst part. The biggest villain in this movie is the fucking script, man. I just can't believe this is what they went with.
Tim Miller was the heel in this movie.
God. So now Tim Miller has Deadpool in this. This is his body of work.
Well, is he doing Deadpool 3 for Marvel, I wonder? After this, probably not.
I don't foresee him in Ryan Reynolds working together again. They butted heads quite a bit, and I can see why. Tim Miller comes off to me as a bit of an asshole and kind of a pretentious cunt. You know?
Like I said, just look at his comments before this, when this movie came out. I mean, before it even came out, during the press junkets and everything, he was talking shit to the fans about it because we were like, what the fuck is this? Because they released garbage images from the pre-production to just get a poster out there, and now this is what we get. So
I don't think this movie was necessarily designed to preach to people. That was kind of one of my biggest fears. For the little bit of political messages that they have in there, it's kind of a backhanded comment. It's not really enough to be like, oh, fuck you. That's how I felt when I was watching, Stranger Things season 3. There was some stuff that's going on there where I was just like, oh, fuck you, show. It's like you had me and you just done pissed me off. It wasn't that bad, but for as much as they hyped it up, there probably should have been more. It's just like they put just enough in there to hide the movie's criticisms behind a veil of false political pretense. And that pisses me off when they do that too. It's like, if you're going to go double down on that shit, then you better double down on it. Otherwise, you're just talking shit that your asses can't cash,
Yep. Oh yeah, and that's a lot of these movies are. I'm just waiting to see if there's actually any protection for this movie from the shills. I don't.
That's what's going to be interesting, and that'll probably be my next video on Terminator. Is that they're going to be looking for a somebody to put in the firing squad. You know, is it going to be Tim Miller? Are they going to say that it's us? We don't like it because we're misogynists.
Yep,
You know,
I'm waiting for the alt-right man baby basement dweller incel trolls, neck beards, and all that stuff.
Some of the websites that I think would defend a movie like this, or in the other course of action logical that they might say is everybody just kind of does an about face on this movie, which could also happen.
Yeah.
They'll have to write this off, and they blew it. You know what else is unfortunate about that for people that are fan? You know, I've often said I'm not a fan of a franchise. I'm a fan of the first 2 Terminator movies. I'm a movie fan. I'm not a sycophant that just follows a logo blindly. I watch. I like the movies that I love, and I like them when they're good and when they're trying to do something different. Okay, I don't just blindly follow a logo, which they just can't seem to crack that code. The people don't just show up because you put a Terminator logo on there. Or put a couple of keys from, you know, the Bradley Fidel soundtrack in there or whatever. You know, it doesn't work. All right, you have special effects are not enough to carry it either. Okay, that there's nothing groundbreaking about any of these special effects anymore. We've seen all this shit before. We just want to see a good story, or we want to see a good performance. Those are things you can't digitally make.
They're incapable of that. It sounds like, though.
Honestly, at this point, if you told me this was written by 6 robots, I'd believe it. You know, it's like you know, maybe an AI would have written a better story. You know what I mean? It's like you need to call up what's that company again? The new Skynet
Legion.
Yeah, you need to call Legion up and have them write a script for this movie.
Probably could have done better than this bullshit.
So that's what it is. I'm telling all of you guys, I'm not boycotting it, but if you're thinking about seeing a movie this weekend, sit this one out, man. You just don't waste your time. This is a waste of everybody's time involved. That's this movie's biggest sin. It's a waste of Linda Hamilton, Arnold Schwarzenegger. James Cameron has nothing to do with this. I fucking called this shit a year ago, and people, no, this is the one, man. This is the one. After you said 3 different fucking reboots, this is the one that's going to do it right here. Come on, man. Nobody's falling for this shit anymore.
Come on, man. Nobody.
But for all you fans out there, this will probably sink it for a long time. Like they won't be. This is the Batman and Robin of this franchise as well. This is the one that they'll be at least a good 3 or 4 years before they can even think about doing this shit again. And if you do it, listen to me. Reboot the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Do that. Just put your budget into that. You could spend half the money and make quality entertainment that'll actually make you money back if you just bring that cast back and that storyline and pick up where it left off. That would work. That's the only time I've ever seen this thing get rebooted where I was on board with it and enjoying it for what it was. Otherwise, these lame-ass movies that they keep making within this franchise, I fucking called it. I hate to be an I told you so, but we saw this shit coming. We're not rocket scientists here. You know, I had a couple of semesters of junior college. I still saw this shit coming miles away, all right? A year out. You've seen the poster, you've seen the trailer. It's exactly what you thought it was. Exactly verbatim, no surprises.
Yeah, it's just they laid an egg with it. They gave it all away and laid an egg.
But anyways, if nobody else has any other comments, I want to thank you everybody for stopping by. We had a pretty good turnout on this one. I still got 9 people watching my video. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to Etepel Kulians, a place to be reviews. Even if you don't like this guy, hey, I'm on there quite a bit. You know, I show up on this guy's channel quite often. So I believe in what he does. He's a very funny guy. He's got some really good content. He watches a lot worse things than I do. And because we had made an agreement that if I sat through this and survived, and you did, I mean, I lost a couple whiskers along the way because I came home with more gray on my beard than when I left. Let's just say that. So I had to shave that shit off. But, you know, he's got to go see Charlie's Angels in a couple weeks. And I'm just going to be sitting here like with the popcorn.
Oh, there will be, it'll probably be, let's see. The next day we'll do a live stream. So I'm going to go see it on a Friday night. I believe it opens Thursday. I'll probably go see it Friday night. Yeah, well, if I go see it right at the theater, if it's playing by my house, I'll do a live stream that Friday night. If you're free, I want you to jump on with me.
All right. I owe you that much. I'll let you lay it all out for me, because you got the worst end of the bargain. You have to actually go through the movie. But it's this cringy entertainment, man. Is it ever going to stop? You know, it makes you wonder how many of these things got started before they'll ever finish, and then they'll finally catch up to, you know, no matter how often you keep doing this hiding your, you know, marketing stuff with this entertainment like this, you know, the future is female and all this kind of stuff, you know, that's fine. Just make it interesting. That was all they had, was this fucking promo poster. They had nothing else after that. That's as far as it went, man.
That was it.
Anyways, that's all I got for today. You guys have yourselves a groovy day. And this is the Groovinator signing out, reminding you that you don't have to pay for bad entertainment. Have yourselves a groovy day. Peace. Wrong intro. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it somewhat entertaining. Please remember to depress that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you'll be the first to know when new content is published. Please visit RaidersOfLostFlicks.com for more hilarious entertainment and links to all of our social media platforms. Also, consider supporting us on Patreon. As little as $1 a month supports our worldwide digs for more Lost Flicks. Thank you, and have a groovy day.